Hello and welcome, my blue-footed boobies. How you doing today? Super John Bombo here, and we're ready for another half cash walkthrough for you guys. This is an interesting one. Half cash has always been a difficult mode to deal with, right? What you want to do is you want to sacrifice lives in the early part of the game to get your hero up so you can dominate in the middle part of the game, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to wait basically for Gwendolyn. $875 here. We've got road spikes in the back. We've got a dart monkey here in a decent spot. And we're just going to let him go to town. Let him do what he does, right? Pop some balloons there, little buddy. Pop some balloons for me. Do your best. That's all you can do, right? Do your best and pop some balloons. Does mean that we're going to have to wait a little bit in here to make sure all this happens for us, but that's okay. All right, let's get started, man. So today, so in my past few videos, I've talked about a kind of wide variety of topics, right? I've talked about, my main thing, though, has been this sort of sciencey topics, the stars, viruses, the coronavirus in particular. If you guys have like any of those topics, feel free to check out my previous videos. Highly recommend them. In today's video, we're going to talk about building computers / why I think you should pick up building computers, not necessarily as a hobby, but at least learn to do it for the well-being of yourself later on in life. All right? Not everybody needs to know how to build computers right now, but if there's ever a time where you're like, should I buy this computer or should I build this computer? The answer should always be, let me build this computer. All right? So, building computers is, again, a big hobby of mine. I've got a few hobbies. Obviously, I like science and all that stuff. You guys know that, but I like fish keeping. Oh, we're losing real lives. No! That's okay, though. We're going to go for a quick Gwendy. Ba-bam. All right, so we got Gwendy here. She's doing a great job. I hope that I can fit my heli pallet where I want to. Hope I can fit it right here. Right, that's my goal. Fit a heli right there. That's our next tower, by the way. Big, fat heli right in the middle of the map. Next to Gwendolyn, of course, is very important. And then we'll come to see where we're going from there. I think I'm going to go for some sort of boomerang strategy to get some grouped popping power over here. And maybe even a rando ice tower in here. We're going to think about it. I don't know. I can't decide right now, but I'm thinking about it, all right? At the very least. Maybe a mortar. I think a mortar right here might be nice. Well, a mortar anywhere, but exploding right there. Yeah. So computer building. Yes, very, very exciting topic here. So that's obviously something kind of big on my top fun list of things to do. It's weird though because I don't do it all that often. You know, I build a computer maybe every couple of years at most. I've built maybe gosh, how many have I built? Let's just lock the place right here. I think I've built like 5 computers in my life. Helped with the 6th. So, like, I have a reasonable understanding of how computer building works, but even so, every couple of years, you kind of have to, like, give yourself a quick recap, because you only do it every couple of years. Like, how do you perfect doing something amazingly when you only do it every once in a while, right? Sometimes you just gotta, like, pick up on the random things, but even when I do, it's not like, oh, crap, I'm gonna explode my computer. It's more just like, was I supposed to plug this thing in this exact hole, or was I supposed to put it in a slightly different hole? I guess, I don't know. All right, let's go for a ninja as well. We need that camera detection. Whoop, right in the middle, right next to Gwendy. Don't forget, you want all your towers on half cash to be next to Gwendy. All right, if at all possible, be next to Gwendy. She's beautiful, she's amazing, she's wonderful, she's hot, obviously. Big, beefy flamethrower over here, she's hot. And she powers up your towers. I think is the big part for us right here. So we're going to go for a big pursuit heli right here. Now we've got a lot of extra popping power for us. We're going to go for that extra camera detection. We're going for a middle path upgrade, which is kind of weird because like a lot of people go bottom path, but like middle path's pretty solid, man. Don't underestimate this guy. It's kind of expensive, $650 for camera detection, little on the high end. But it still is pretty good. Another great thing about Gwendy is you don't need tons of cam detection because her keg blast can pop round 78, which is a very difficult round for a lot of players, right? And a very difficult round for camera detection, which is very difficult to get in half cash. Like, you don't want to buy a camera detection village; it's too expensive. So we got to like find other ways to get that camera detection. I think the keg blast is really good, but if you just get enough with like a nice level heli, a nice level ninja, you should be good. So anyways, I built like 5, maybe 6 computers in my life, and I feel like I'm always learning something new with them. But the great thing about computers is that every couple years you come back, everything's so much cooler and so much nicer and so much faster and so much stronger. It's like one of those things like you can almost never keep up with tech. You can never keep up with computers because every other week something better is coming out, you know? It's awesome. It's a little overwhelming at sometimes because I'm like, oh, here we go. Whoop, gotta get double shot at least. Throw this crap down. Looks like with that Bernie stuff action and all that good stuff, we got it covered. Nice. All right, so that mob is a little difficult for us. Luckily, we have a lot of extra money here. We're about to get Bloon Jitsu here. Actually, believe it or not, perfect timing for round 42. Little extra camera detection for us. All set. Let's see. I changed my mind. I think instead of going for Mortal, we're going to go for a cannon instead. But before we get there, we're going to go for our Alchemist, guys. This is a tower that you can almost never get without on half cash mode. You have to. You got to go Berserker Brew. You got to go Stronger Stim on these guys. If you can, power up our Ninja and our Heli together. Those are the two ideal towers to power up. They get the biggest boost out of your Alchemist compared to any other tower on the in the game, basically. So keep that in mind, all right? Anyways, the great thing about building computers, though, is, like I said, it's fairly simple. Let's see. You could build a computer, if you're pretty good at it, in about 30 minutes. Generally, I would say it would take about an hour for, like, an average person. And I think you could probably do it in about 2 hours to 3 hours if you're fairly new and just kind of watching videos as you go along, just sort of learning and making sure you do it slow so you don't mess anything up. Probably 2 to 3 hours max. And then you're going to have that computer for the next 2 to 3 years, like 5 years maybe. You know, it depends on how long and how often you wait before you get that new tech. All right, one thing that I used to do is that I always used to say, I'm going to make my computer upgradable, so I could, like, I'm going to leave spots open so I can upgrade it later, right? You know, when I have more money and things like that. I learned that that's not the way I should do it. I won't upgrade my computer. I just buy a new one. So that's something I definitely have to watch out for myself. Admittedly, I know, a little bit bad of me, but it's the truth of it. Alright, so we got to make sure we can stop around 63. That's the next big one for us. Now, Gwendolyn, we're lucky with Gwendolyn. She's got this and this and this, which can pop around 63. That's why I love her for this. She powers up your other towers. She's also going to do a great job for around 63, 78, even 76 if you want to, like these tougher balloon levels. In the meantime, though, what we're going to do is we're going to go for that cannon, right? So this is just going to help us out. You want to have it in range of Gwendolyn if possible, but you want to make sure you get a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then put them on close here. When I'm right in the middle, just shooting on close and exploding all the balloons as they come out, basically. That's our basic goal here. Another thing we're going to need is we need camo lead popping power. Even though this doesn't help a bunch, and you can probably rely on your Alchemist, I suggest just getting the Razor Rotors going. It's going to open up if you want to save up for that big chunk of money, get an Apache Dart ship, or just start upgrading kind of random crap. Whatever you want at this point. You're almost basically set if you use your abilities properly. Most players will probably be set at this point. But the next tower I usually go for after that is if I feel confident in my abilities, I go for a top path wizard. So I'm going to go strong, 302, and eventually a 402, and that's going to be basically all I need. It's probably going to take me a while to save up for this guy, but I think I'm going to get it by the time that I actually need it, so that should be good. All right, round 63. We're going to, again, watch out for this level. This is a pretty tough one, and we're going to throw down our cocktail right away. Kind of let that go to town. Cocktail burn through those balloons. Cannon exploded the rest of them. For round 2, we're going to use our keg blast really quick. And then for round 3, we're going to wait just a few seconds in here. And we're going to throw down our cocktail again. Oh, crap, she threw it in the wrong spot. Doesn't matter, though. We popped, no problem. We didn't even need the cocktails like that. But if you're worried, that's the way to do it, man. But as you can tell, the mobs are actually our biggest issue at this point. Not even the balloons. So that's why we're going to go for this Arcane Spike. So, I don't really think that you should make your computer leave spots open to make it upgradable in the future or anything like that. Some people call that future-proofing. I don't think that's the way to do it, unless you're really, really tight on money and you know you're going to get money at some point in the future, but you just really need your computer now. I suggest just buying a completely new set and selling your old one for whatever you can get from it, and getting a new one whenever you really want a new one. Just my personal suggestion. I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but that's what I like to do. But the great thing about building computers is that there's really only like 6, 7, maybe 8 parts to a computer. It's legit like building Legos. Alright? Besides having to plug things in, it's like building Legos. You screw things in where they go. Basically, you take a motherboard. Ready for this? I'm going to show you guys how to to build a computer. You take a motherboard, you put it on a motherboard box. You take a CPU, you plug the CPU in. You take the RAM, you plug the RAM in. You take the... Well, you don't have to plug the RAM in yet, but you can. You take the CPU cooler, and you make sure you put the CPU cooler on. Boom. Alright? You're basically almost already there. Then you can... Well, you can either attach to the case, then put the CPU cooler on, or it depends. Sometimes you can put it on without. Depends. But then you put it in the case. Then you attach the power supply. You can attach the hard drives if you have any hard drives or an SSD. And boom. You're basically there. Everything's already there. Then you just plug all the wires in. And when I say plug all the wires in, a lot of it's really simple. It's not that bad. You know, a lot of it, like, it's literally just marked. Like, you put the plus in the plus. You put the pin with 8 pins next to the pin with 8 pins. Like, you don't have to really do all that much. There's a couple difficult ones, like when you have to plug in, like, your computer's power thing and stuff like that. There's, like, very, very little tiny LED things with 1 pin. You have to get it in the right pin exactly, or else it'll be screwed up. But other than that, like, everything's just simplistic, man. It's wonderful. And then again, you saved a bunch of money because you didn't have to do that. You got the exact computer that you wanted. I think that's the main thing that I like about building my own computer. You can get exactly how you want it to be. There's gaming machines, there's workstation machines, there's a gaming workstation machine, there's a rendering machine, there's like a bunch of different kinds of machines that you can build, basically. All right, so here's where you have to worry about a little bit. Camo detection, man. We don't have all that much at this point. We can get more random towers in here. I don't know what I would be to build at this point. This is not a camo detection tower, but he's something. All right, whatever. But once we see these camos, all we gotta do is we gotta keg blast it, and the keg blast will slowly take it down into nothingness. If you do it early enough, all right? I think that's the main thing. If you do it early enough, because it takes the balloons down to nothing. And then we can finish off these last few rounds here pretty simply. Half cash mode, tree stumps taken down. But yeah, you can make it exactly how you want it to be. It could be like a mixture gaming rendering machine, depending on how you want to build it. And you can spend the exact amount that you want to spend. Get the higher, you know, certain things higher. So like if you really want a nice SSD for a very, very fast boot drive or something like that. Or if you want to spend more money on getting fast RAM, so you can get like, I don't know, RAM just kind of does everything. But you can get like certain things kind of the way you want them to be, basically. And that's why I always recommend building your computer instead of buying your computer. It's a great learning experience. Highly recommend it. You can kind of follow a YouTube video and build your own computer. It's that simple, man. Last thing, PCPartPicker.com. If you haven't used that yet, it'll help you out so much in figuring out what kind of parts you should use for your computer. And if you want to, feel free to check out my kit where I show you guys kind of like a couple computer building guides that will show you what parts I think are really, really good at the moment. Best cost to performance ratio, which I think is always ideal for a lot of people. Cost to performance ratio is like the key, man. But if you guys enjoyed, press that like button for me, and of course, have a super duper delicious day.